We interrupted an important experiment in progress.
I am Chucky.
Pennywise the ants.
You will coming to get you, Barbara.
I want to play a game.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to my 31 Days of Howling review series. And today I'm going to be continuing the series off with a classic here, and that is The Howling from 1981.
All your nightmares are about to be transformed into one single, inescapable fear.
Tonight I'm going to show you something. Make you believe.
The Howling. Beyond anything human. Rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspaper.
The Howling stars Dee Wallace, Patrick McCree, Dennis Dugan, Christopher Stone, Kevin McCarthy, and is directed by Joe Dante. The plot of The Howling is that severely shaken after a near-fatal encounter with a serial killer, TV newscaster Karen White, portrayed by Dee Wallace, takes some much-needed time off. Hoping to conquer a demon, she heads for the Colony, a secluded retreat where her neighbors seem just a tad too eager to make her feel at home. Also, there seems to be a strange link between her would-be attacker and the supposedly safe haven. And after nights of being tormented by savage shrieks and unearthly cries, Karen ventures into the forest to seek for answers, and she makes a terrifying discovery. She then not only has to fight for her life, but also for her very soul. Now, before I get into this review, I would like to say I have seen this movie before, of course. It's a classic. It's a classic werewolf horror movie. Also, too, I actually reviewed this movie before. This is not the first time I reviewed this. I reviewed it on my main channel years ago when I first watched it. I first watched the movie and then I reviewed it, and I loved it then, and this is a case now where I still love it to this day. And I'm going to discuss with you guys why I love The Howling, and also any bit of problems I may have with the movie. Like this year for my 31 Days of Howling review series, this was really like basically just me trying to re-review a lot of old movies that, like a lot of movies that I already reviewed, because again, I have a new environment, updated equipment, and plus I feel like I could give more in-depth thoughts on the movie, like on whatever movie I'm covering. And I did that with Salt 2, did that with Hatchet a while ago, and now I'm doing it again with The Howling. I love this story. I love the story of it basically, and it kind of differs from that of a traditional werewolf movie. It does pay some homages to some of the classic, werewolf tales, but for the most part, it is different. And I like the fact that it's basically about this TV newscaster who basically, is traumatized after attack, goes to a secluded place, which I do like. I'll get to talk about the Colony a little bit soon, but basically it's just a slow burn movie, that it's not even treated for a while as a werewolf movie, actually. It's treated more as like a serial killer thriller mystery movie for a while. And it not until halfway through the film, closer to the third act, that it does become a werewolf horror movie. I like that, especially since at that point in time, we were already kind of saturated with werewolf horror films. I mean, if you look back with the original The Wolfman, which they do reference in this movie, I think there's scenes from it.
Experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Sorry about that, my laptop died on me. I didn't know it was about to die, so I had to go and put my laptop on the charger, so I do apologize. But anyway, as I was saying, so I do like that premise, I really do. I like the fact that it's like, for the most part, it's slow burn. I like the fact that it's not really a werewolf film until like the midway point or, you know, the final act. And I think that's very refreshing. I really do. And speaking of refreshing, I love the setting of this movie, like the main location in that, which is the colony. I love the look of the place. Yes, it has some of the traditional werewolf setting vibes, you know, like with the forest and everything like that. But it is different, you know. It's like kind of like off the coast of some sort of like, I don't know. I know they shot this film in California, and I really dig the look and feel of the colony. And also, too, that you get to start to know some of the other members of the colony, and actually, I did really like them. They seemed nice, friendly, until you get to the last act, of course. I like the characters in this. Speaking of which, I like the character Karen White, played by Dee Wallace, and not only that, too, I really liked her performance. I mean, what can you say? It's Dee Wallace. She was in Cujo, so many other stuff. She was in E.T. She was in a lot, especially around the 80s, I've noticed. The only modern film I've seen her in was in Rob Zombie's Howling, where she played Laurie Strode's adopted mother. That's really it. I don't think I've seen anything of her since then. I don't know. But, yeah, she gives off a great performance. In fact, all these actors give a really great performance. And I also like, too, there's this, like, along the way, there's a side plot where it's like, you know, a couple of her newscaster friends are trying to figure out, okay, what is this place, the colony, what's going on down there. Seems to be some weird kind of shit going on down there. And, you know, trying to find out what is going on. I like that subplot. Overall, I like the setting, I like the characters, I like the story, and also, too, when it does get to werewolf stuff, man, it is really good. I love the practical effects in this movie. And yeah, I just love the way they utilize the effects, the transformation scene, which they saved the transformation scene for literally the last act. So there's this serial killer that she was trying to track down to eventually arrest, I guess, and that is a character by the name of Eddie Quist. And, yeah, and then at the end of the film, he basically shows Karen White, his true self, and he's a fucking werewolf. He is 100% a werewolf. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he basically performs this whole act of the transformation. Like, he enjoys transforming into this beast, and he used it to scare her and everything. And yeah, it's just a great effect. They use a lot of what's called bladder effects to basically make the face, like the skin, kind of like bubble out and all that. Just really great stuff. Really great stuff. I can't give the practical effects team of this movie enough credit. It's like, seriously, what happened to great werewolf movies with this and American Werewolf in London, which came out the same year? What happened with great werewolf movies? Seriously, what happened to it? Oh, and also, too, I really dug the music. There's not much in regards to actual music. A lot of the film is very much atmospheric sounds and backdrops, but there's a reoccurring theme that I really like, and it's very atmospheric, it's very creepy. Sometimes it can get very intense too, and I just enjoy that. The pacing of the movie is actually pretty good. This film clocks in an hour and 31 minutes, and it feels like that. It feels exactly like an hour and 30 minutes, actually. So it doesn't overstay its welcome, but it also doesn't fly by so quickly to where it's like, you don't get to, know these characters, know the situation, don't get to feel any bit of the suspense. It's just the perfect balance between... I just like the pacing. The pacing of this film is really good, and it fits its runtime rather well. I honestly don't think I have any. I don't have any mixed thoughts or like anything that I'm mixed on about this movie. Or anything that I just downright hated. So let's move on to my rating. So with that said, I'm going to give The Howling a 5 out of 5 stars. This movie is the shit. This movie is the shit. Love this film. I loved it ever since I first watched it. And I don't remember what I ended up watching first, this or American Werewolf in London, but I love this movie. And I think if this was the one I watched first, so this is the one I kind of gravitate more to. I do really like American Werewolf in London, which I am going to be talking about as well this October. So be sure to look out for that. So you get 2 werewolf movies in the same month. Double whammy. But yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. It's a favorite of mine. Hell, I got the poster over there. Got the poster, The Howling. Also too, got the Scream Factory Collector's Edition Blu-ray of The Howling, which I highly recommend. I love the transfer. In fact, this is what I used to watch it. I literally just rewatched the film just before I got on here and started recording, because I wanted to have my fresh thoughts on the movie. So, but yeah, I highly recommend The Howling, Scream Factory Collector's Edition Blu-ray. But yeah, I will eventually talk about the actual Blu-ray at some point. And so yeah, man, look at that artwork. Like, seriously. But yeah, overall, I really love the film. I really do. It's one of my favorites. Definitely up there with maybe like my top. I would say definitely like maybe like top 10, 15 horror films of all time. So yeah, and if you guys have not seen The Howling, I highly recommend it. It is definitely a really great watch for around the Halloween time. You want something atmospheric, spooky, and then like of a creature feature monster movie that isn't really a creature feature monster movie for the majority of the film. And also if you're just in for classic, again, The Howling is where it's at. And one of the things that the film talks about is, in a sense, it's kind of repressing our inner animal. And honestly, they're right. We do repress our inner animals a lot. And I'm just kind of tired of it. So I'm going to show you guys my quote-unquote inner animal.